Okay, so actually that's a bad start. Gotta wait a second. This is the VOD review for ESC Ever versus CJ Entus finals for Kespa Cup. We have a Jace ban, Lulu ban. So Jace is for Coco, Lulu, CJ's fine playing Lulu, so that's why they banned Lulu, and she's still kind of OP. Kindred's gone, makes sense. Bard is gone, I like that ban. Bard was a pretty big deal in the 2 games that Ever actually won. Elise is gone, Rise is gone, okay. Gangplank first pick. Alright, Gangplank first pick. I wonder if he's going to do a similar build where he goes Avarice first to build up his gold and get the Triforce Yomus. Tom Kench Lissandra. It's a great coat for Coco. If he does Tom Kench, that means he can deny barrel damage. That's good. Lissandra spikes more in the mid game, so they'll need some. They could go like a really hard mid game type team, like with the last game to SKT, game 2 SKT versus Ever. They did a really hard mid game type team. But by doing Tom Kench, that also means that they don't have engage by the support. He can flank, but he doesn't really have engage. Ever, Rek'Sai. We've seen Rek'Sai paired up with Gangplank quite often. Rek'Sai is very good early, and because of his global, he can move around the map quickly to match. Let's say he ganks top, then he can go bot with Gangplank ult. It's a nice little play. Kalista, very good early. I like her into Tom Kench as well. So you have Gangplank who scales to late. We have Kalista who's good in the early game. They chose Italy, so they have less engage. And Tristana. I don't agree with that. I'm trying to think, like, it's Ambition, first of all. Ambition gets caught all the time. Why wouldn't you just put Ambition on a tank jungler? Like Gragas. If you go Gragas, then you at least have 2 forms of disengage, plus you have the Lissandra engage from flanks. I don't know. I don't like Nilly, but okay. Let's see, Alistar. That would be great. That gives them a form of engage, and a reliable engage to be that. Followed up with you can get a barrel in late game, because barrel countdowns drop quickly, and they go Vlad. Well, Vlad's not bad, because what lockdown do they have right now? It's just on Lissandra, right? Vlad loves that. If there's like not a lot of lockdown, Vlad will thrive. And Vlad also gets pretty tanky thanks to his passive, so this will be a little hard for them. This will be hard for CJ. You want to kill Gangplank because he's going to do massive amounts of damage, but you also have to deal with sort of a tanky Vlad who's just right in your face. And then meanwhile you have Kalista jumping around. And if they do Fiora, yeah, their only lockdown is going to be Lissandra. Well, I mean, we know that Fiora is going to split push. Fiora does beat Vlad. In the late game, Fiora beats Vlad. Let's specifically say that. Like mid to late, when Fiora hits her spikes, she'll run Vlad down. But team fight wise, this 100% goes to Ever. And if CJ does get into a team fight for some odd reason, they probably want a Lissandra ult, Fiora ult, the same person, burst them down to get the AoE heal, and hopefully that's enough. They're basically a skirmish pick comp. Like they really can't. I can't really see them team fighting at all. Whereas Ever has a lot more flexibility.
근데 이게요. 어떻게 보면은 결국에는 그 이니시에이팅 주도권을 가져가려면 결국엔 칼리스타 아리스타가 뭔가 해줘야 되는데.
CJ might want to lane swap.
바텀에 갱킹과 투자가 CJ 쪽이 쏠렸을 때 저는 이거 굉장히 좀 어려운 경기가 나올 수 있다고 봅니다. 자, 이제 끝까지 다 왔습니다. 2년 반 만에 결승에서
Yeah, they might want to lane swap.
어떻게 따져보면 20년 횟수로 5년 된 팀과 5개월 된 팀 간의 경기.
And they will. They do want to avoid the Kalista. Particularly how their team comp, if they get behind, that team comp is going to get absolutely smashed.
말하자면은 그 CJ 엔투스 같은 경우는 한국 리그 오브 레전드의 히스토리. 그러게요. ESC는 뉴스. 네. 라고 볼 수 있겠어요. 네. 정말 말도 안 되는 소식을 전해줬죠. 그리고 판도를 완전히 뒤바꿔 버렸습니다. 그리고 그렇습니다. 내년도의 리그를 더욱더 기대하게 만들어줬어요. 네. ESC에버 어제 실검 1위도 올라가고 막 그랬어요. 그렇습니다. 그리고 진짜 막 경기 종료 이후에 막 로콘 선수가 눈물을 흘리고 막 이런 장면에서 이들이 얼마나 그동안 마음고생이 많았는지 알 수가 있었고 사실 에버는
Okay, so they invaded, they got the wards down. You see that Ever... wait, what?
각자 갈 길 가자 이거였는데 이런 성과를 거뒀습니다.
I see. It was too early though. They should have waited long. They really should have waited longer, because now they're going to be on their... Actually, they might... No, they're not going to get there in time. They really shouldn't have done that. So typically when you put down wards, the reason why they put them down past 55 seconds is so then if you do want to make a late rotation, you like around like the 140 mark, like it's still gonna see you. The ward won't expire. Now they're gonna be far behind. Here, let's see how many creeps they lose. They lost 3 melees. So they're not gonna hit level 2. They won't hit level 2 before CJ, so that was a mistake by Ever. But now here's the thing. Is CJ going to punish this? Because if Ever just sits back, yes, they'll be behind XP, yes, CJ will eventually hit level 6 before them, but they had the lane matchup they won. And they didn't get punished at all for that. If I was CJ and I noticed them going top like that, I don't know. Actually, I'm trying to think if I was gonna see them going top, they go bot and they force this little trade in. I guess it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I was gonna originally say, like, you know, maybe you go and try to start on the strong side and then just push them off, sort of, and maybe form like a 4v2 tower dive. Because if you do a 4v2 tower dive, like, they have to respect that. If you, especially with Nilly, Tom Kench, it could be pretty dangerous. Okay, so Ambition ganks mid. He started on his red, took blue. Okay, I like that's not bad pathing, and looks like he's going for it again. But Athena's gonna back off really hard. Ares is looking top. So Ambition needs to get lane snowballing. That's an affirmative thing he needs to do. Bot lane is a no-go, really. He doesn't have much CC in that area. Mid lane, he chose mid lane because that is the best area to target. Lissandra spikes the earliest on their team, and she has the most crowd control. She has a slow, and now here, Ares is doing something smart. Oh, that was good by Ambition, actually. That was actually good by Ambition throwing the trap in there. Because the way Crazy was posturing, he wasn't backing off completely, so it kind of gave the sense like, oh, maybe Ares is actually in that bush or nearby.
팀의 승리의 원동력이 되고 있는데 이 두 선수가 가장 좋아하는 선수는 또 매드라이프예요. 그러다 보니까 정말 이미 스타덤에 올랐던 이들의 어떤 플레이를 보면서 꿈을 키웠던 이들이 이제 탱결을 하고 있는 것도 이번 결승전의 볼거리죠.
If I'm Ares, what lane do I want to target? Gangplank's hardest to target. I would say his Callista or Vlad lane. If Vlad goes off, Fiora will have a much higher difficulty to actually impact the game. And if you put Fiora behind as well, that means she can't start split pushing as early, which is a big plus. I would say Vlad, yeah, the Vlad lane would be the best choice in terms of how it impacts the game. But bot lane is definitely doable as well.
라인 CS 상황을 지속적으로 보시면 됩니다. 지금 에버가 굉장히 잘하고 있는 거예요. 탑도 그렇고 미드도 그렇고 CS 압박을 느끼거나 아니면 킬을 당할 수조차도 있는 상황임에도 불구하고 팽팽하게 혹은 그 이상으로 에버가 지금 앞서고 있는 것 자체가 엄청 잘하고 있는 거예요.
Okay, we see Ambitions on bot side. He knows GP's flash is still down, and Athena's actually done a good job on controlling the wave by actually keeping it roughly in the center, if not a little bit more towards his turret. Alright, here we go. This is excellent, and he doesn't take it either, so that's great. So he has a CS lead. They're gonna burn Shy's teleport in a second. Actually, in 8 seconds. And he gets the kill. So now that he's ahead, the Shy is behind. That's actually a big thing for CJ. And now Ares, knowing that Vlad is ahead, he can look bot and try to snowball that now. Looks like they're just backing though, so he might just head top again. This was a good call by CJ or by Ever though. Throw down the GP ult. He has nowhere to go. It doesn't draw any aggro, so if Shy sits in it, then he's gonna be taking constant damage. You have Vlad pool to de-aggro. I have so many ways of just to stay in it. Yeah, he has the sustain now. Shy won't be having fun there. Athena's still getting pushed in. If he's gonna get constantly pushed in like this, Athena needs to find chances where he can roam. Or no, sorry, not Athena. Coco needs to find chances where he can roam. Particularly top side. Alright, so they hit level 6 first, as predicted. It looks like... Well, they can't do much because it's Tom Kench. Tom Kench isn't supposed to be a champion in the lane where he just dominates. He pretty much prevents the other team from dominating, really. Okay, goodbye Ares. Okay, so here we go. So this is one of the chances where Coco can roam. What will he do? Dives are actually very possible if they want to do that because of Devour. Oh wow. He's gonna die from that. Wow. Okay. This is how it all went down. So they know Coco's coming down because I think they had a ward and try. So they put the GP ult down, and I forgot GP. It's their GP ult. So I was thinking that Callista was gonna die to it, but it's theirs. By putting it down on the turret, first it prevents CJ from really wanting to dive that. 2, Key won that fight super hard because basically what happens is he pulverizes Lissandra, Coco, and then when Coco's throwing out his E again, he gets headbutted away. And then Loken baits Space's jump and exhausts him.
네.
건드렸다가 오히려 역으로 당했어요. 왜냐면 라인 클리어가 워낙에 빠르니까 6렙 이후에
Just great play by Ever there on actually keeping them safe in that situation. And the GP ult is paying dividends. It looks like he's going Triforce first instead of getting an Avarice. So like watch. Okay, so there's the Q. Oh, he didn't have E up again. But it was still a very good headbutt. Oh wow. You notice what Space did? He W'd and then only halfway through that animation he flashed. What he meant to do was jump all the way to the end of the animation, flash, and then he would have the kill. So Space actually screwed up there. Okay, Ever's 2 kills ahead in the lane that they care about the most. Ambition has to fix that. Ambition needs to either get mid or top going, like soon. Because if Crazy can build up that CS lead even more, and Shy gets even further behind, his spikes are gonna be really off. Right now we're looking at a 21-minute fully stacked Roa for Coco. I don't think Shy is gonna have well, he might have BC by then, but that's not enough. He needs more than that. And lo and behold, Ares is focusing his strong side. And GP ults up again. If they try this, this could be bad again. Oh, he went too far out though. They invested 4 people and a teleport for this dive, and I think they could have played this better. If the GP ult was more on turret while they were staying on turret the whole time, it would have been better. But what are they gonna lose for this? That's the real question. So we see Shy losing more CS. We're seeing Athena getting some pushes in. So they basically traded turret damage on top T2, mid T1 for a kill and bot T1. So it will equate more gold for CJ for now, but the potential gold forever is higher. Also, the Tristana got the kill. It would have been better if Coco got the kill.
사실 워낙에 최근에 경기들이 라인 덕분이 중요해지다 보니까 중후반 또는 극후반의 어떤 화력보다도 초반 설계에서 터졌던 경기가 많아서
He's roaming again.
정말 이런 챔프 쓰기 힘들다 이런 얘기를 많이 하는 건데
This is how CJ has to play it out when you have Lissandra and you have someone who doesn't have as much pressure. You have to roam. What I like about the Gangplank against Lissandra right now is that every time Coco roams, he's been answered with a Gangplank ult. So while he's spending time to try to impact the map, Athena doesn't have to do anything to actually be there. And while CSing, while gaining CS. That's why you see him ahead. It's gonna be a bigger problem than you would think. Okay, he finished his WODA already. And he has an arm guard. Yikes. Actually, this is a bit curious. I'm gonna go back a little bit. I want to see when these teams are swapping here. When did CJ make this choice? I see. So CJ is making this choice because their Tristana is ahead, and they can't keep having Shy face crazy. They just can't. It's too much of a problem. If they keep this up, then Shy's gonna get further behind, and then their whole composition is gonna have really weird power spikes. They're not gonna be occurring at the same time. And that's actually one of the worst things to have, is different power spikes for your so for instance, the reason why I'm saying this is, like, let's say Coco finishes his second item, but then you only have first item on your Fiora. Your Fiora can't do anything, and your composition can't fully execute its maximum potential. So you're kind of like just waiting around. And then while you're doing that, the enemy team might be hitting their full team power, their full team power spike, and now you're like, well, great, we missed our opportunity here. Okay, Tom Kenshalt. So they rotated. Oh my god. He flashed over? Why? That was too greedy, but that was overly greedy. So what Ever's reading here is, okay, we saw them move their resources bot, right? They somehow got their bot lane, their duel to dragon quickly, which means they must have used Tom Kenshalt. So that means we want to try to pressure mid or top while they're backing. Simple plan. Not hard to execute because they kept their members top, but in the end they didn't get much. And if Crazy did kill Ambition, that would have been it would have helped Ever push their lead in the top lane by trying to take top T2 and having Crazy get a kill, but Crazy basically went crazy and flashed over, well Turtle style. I mean, I would be bored facing Shy too. Let's be honest. Shy hasn't done the worst job in Kespa Cup, but he isn't the competition where you're like, wow, I'm facing Shy. It's gonna be so difficult.
최근 어찌 보면 대세가 아닌 조금 가치가 떨어졌다라고 평가받는 드래곤을 네, 키가 단독 공격하는데 뒤쪽에서 로프 넣고 아래서 옵니다. 네. 그 어떤 변수에도 대응
Not to shit on Shy that much. It's just his era is done. He can't do it. He's not like the old Shy, and the meta's not shifting favorably into him either. Okay, so we have Ever. They had top pushed in hard, so now they look bot. Force CJ to provide members, but there's okay. He's gonna burn TP for it. I was gonna say, here's the thing: we're having Shy get CS while we're doing this, and you notice now he's only down 20 CS. Like if I'm Ever, you just need to push with the Vlad. He still doesn't have his power spike. He still doesn't even have his first item yet. You have an item plus arm guard. Use it. Okay, now he has Black Cleaver, but that does not mean he can fight Vlad still.
스페이스 선수 참 이번 대회에서 안정감 있는 모습 많이 보였던 스페이스 크리스타나가 집중적으로 이렇게 먹었다라는 것.
Okay, if I'm CJ, let's think this out here. We have Roa, no spikes on our ADC, nothing on our jungler. Our jungler's powering up. Our mid needs their second item. Our Fiora is still not there. And our Tristana isn't there yet. What can they do? So far, ganks bot haven't worked, because GP just answers them. I would say ganking Athena would be a great choice, because ganking Athena means you have the Coco ult, the Lissandra ult, plus Lissandra W. So GP can only get out of one of those. You have burst damage with Nidalee. So I think killing GP would be the best thing in this situation for them. Especially if you kill GP now, and then you can try to look for a quick play afterwards while GP is dead so he can't ult and impact a lane. You could try to maybe snowball 2 kills off that right away. Meanwhile, if I'm Ever, you just keep crazy split pushing. If he draws more than one member, then you can use GP ult to answer. You have Rek'Sai ult to help. They have a lot of good cross map options for Ever. Because since they have Rek'Sai ult plus GP ult, they can target one side lane and then go to another. Or they could have, we have, for instance, Rek'Sai gank top, GP ult bot in case they get dove or something, or they get like ganked or something. I mean, they just have so many options in this game on what they can do. And power spikes wise, they have Triforce stun, not enough though on GP. He's getting close to Zhonya's, and when he gets Zhonya's, ouch. Like that nullifies Fiora's ult.
워낙에 지금 블라디미르가 그 피오나에 앞서 있다 보니까 지금 저 와드는 굉장히 이후의 운영에 탄력적으로 반응하기에 중요한 자원이 됩니다.
네. 의미 있는 와드라고 내주고 계시는데요. 다시 또 한번 레드.
이것도 진짜
네.
블라디미르 성장이 있기 때문에 가능한 플레이예요.
빼먹는 아래습니다.
This is completely dependent on how they want to, how Ever wants to play this out. Okay. Oh, he doesn't have Zhonya's yet. So they invest a lot of people into this top gank. He's pushed very far out, even though he has wards. The global by Tahm Kench hurts them. I'm actually surprised there was no GP ult to help him escape. That was a smart choice by CJ though. Because what they decided to do in this situation was spend 4 people into a gank. Actually, was it 4 people? It was Fiora, Tahm Kench, and one other. 3 people. So if they did 2, it wouldn't really work. But by investing that many and using Tahm Kench ult, so it's like a quick gap closer. And then that means that CJ Ever loses the pressure top, and they can't split their forces up that much. Good play by CJ. They have to work around a lot of globals. I think they just did a good job there. Zhonya's is done. There's this big spike. Ever definitely wants to fight because they have a better teamfight team. Plus they have better spikes. You got him. If you're CJ, you're contesting this dragon because they want to try to kill the dragon quickly and disengage out. They really shouldn't commit to that fight. Like Coco going in, he really can't do that because you know the spikes that Ever has, and we know that they're a much better teamfight comp. It just isn't worth it. Also, for the love of God, why did Space do that? Why did he buy another BF?
이게 지금 키더가
네.
비단 가드만 그런 게 아닌 것 같다는 생각도 드네요.
네.
네, 전투 구도도 봤을 때 그리고 스페이스만큼
Like I can understand that when you have that much gold, you're like, okay, well, it's usually hard to accumulate this much gold, so I want to buy the BF now. But he misses out on getting his shiv. He misses out in he could buy probably his oh my god, I'm on my blankie.
싸움에서도 좀 유리하게 가고 있고 자, 다시 풀어나가고 있는 ESC에버.
갱플도 갱플인데 크레이지의 이게 블라디미르가 닉네임 값
Buy lifesteal with it. That's what I was going for. Vampiric plus finishes shiv compared to getting the BF. And yes, again, I know that you do like having the gold to just get it out right away, but it delays your spike. So now we have 5-sec row on Ambition. They have poke, they can split push, they have some disengage. Their engage sucks because it's completely dependent on Coco. And we know what happens to a Lissandra to an Alistar. If Alistar pulverizes at the right time, that Lissandra is done. Meanwhile, Athena is getting tons of gold from Parlay and Avarice. He's going for the IE, so he wants to maximize his gold. The more I look at this, the more I think that CJ is just so screwed right now. Vlad is always going to be ahead. Shy still doesn't have his 2-item power spike. Space decides to delay his own power spike. And I mentioned that, yeah, Fiora beats out Vlad later. But if Vlad is actually if Vlad is really far ahead, he kind of like overcomes that matchup. So right now, they're fine with farming. They will contest every single neutral objective, because that is what their comp is meant to do. They finished their IE on GP, so that's a very big power spike for them. At this point, before Shy finishes his second item, the Hydra, I would like to see them just split with Vlad and then push 4 with, like, push 4. In other words, do a split push. Because they know they're ahead. What CJ is doing instead is they're actually doing sort of like a 1-3-1. In the sense that they want to split up the idea for Ever to want to do a 1-4 and keep delaying the game. They're looking for their spice. Zonya's done on Coco.
지금 딱 에버 이번 드래곤에는 우리가 싸우면 무조건 이긴다라는 생각하면서 아마 한타 걸 겁니다. 예, 갱플랭크가 이미 무한의 대군까지 완성이 됐고 블라디미르도
Remember, when we're looking at CJ, their composition is about skirmishes and picks, not team fights. So if they want to, for instance, contest this dragon, they need to find setup in one of the bushes and get ready to try to pick someone off right away. If Ever gets set up for this, then CJ needs to just give it. Like, they still can't contest this, and it would be better if CJ didn't contest this so they could just get farm on Shy and Tristana. In other words, keep scaling.
크레이지 살았고요. 드래곤은 나왔고요. 그렇다면 탑 지역에 두 번째 타워에서 야,
오.
대단하네.
So what we saw instead would happen, bot. Shy gets caught out. Ever makes the quick decision to let's get rolling, let's engage. Because they have the engage. Remember what I said? They have Alistar, and then they have Rek'Sai, and then they have GP ult where he can aim it anywhere. And now they just got themselves the dragon, which I think they would have gotten anyways if they just contested it. But
냉정하게 두드려 봤을 때는 어쨌든 에버가 조금씩 이득을 보고 있는 게 맞아요. 킬도 많이 먹었고 타워도 같이 밀고 그럼에도 불구하고 계속 CJ의 희망이라고 쓰면 결국에는 스페이스에서
so watch. So here's Shy. No wards to know if they're in the river. So that's an error by Shy. Ambition. He's trying to help him, but doesn't amount to much.
탈진 걸리면 뭐 칼리스트가 축경은 충분히 되는 챔프니까 완벽하게 잡아줬으면 조금 아쉬운 건 크레이지 선수가 일부러 타워를 수성하기 위해서 무리한
Here we go. This is CJ's pick.
깔끔합니다.
바로 잡아먹힙니다. 아테나.
그러니까 이게 돼야 돼요.
You have Fiora.
적으로 잘
TP.
플레이를 해야지 모여서 하는 그런 한타는
Oh god, I would be so tempted to look for Baron right now and bait Baron.
그래도 3코가
I think they need to bait Baron.
자, 그 사이에 이제 아테나는 전사했고요.
No, I don't think they need to bait Baron. They have to bait Baron.
샤이가 크레이지 뒤로
He has his Hydra now.
자, 존재를 버티고 있는 크레이지. 샤이. 자, 바로
There we go. They're getting Baron. Good call by CJ. They know that they can do that, especially because they have Shy TP, so it would be a 5v4.
와. 일부러 시선을 좀 끌어주기 위해서 기습적으로 싸움을 걸고
And Vlad didn't have TP, which is why it's why Ever had to sort of give that. If Vlad was near Baron though, Ever would contest it. Because Vladimir, with how powerful he is right now, and since Baron does Magic Shred, or MR Shred, they probably could win that Baron fight. But now CJ, okay, we have our 2 item power spike. We know we can beat Vlad with Fiora now because we have those items. Even though it was rather late to get it, we still have them now. So Fiora split push, you can siege 4. And they just need to be careful of the Vlad flank.
지금 로컨이 좀 멀죠.
자, 미션이 일단 창 던져봤다 피해 나갔고.
자, 이거 타워 무너지는 그 순간 싸움 걸 수 있습니다. 이제 싸울 만한 타이밍이 됐어요, 시제도.
일단 압박감만 주면서
Okay, so CJ, they draw them mid, and then they immediately decide to send Coco bot to hit it up.
이쪽으로 내려오면
And they use Tahm Kench ult to help with this quick rotation. One of the good things about Tahm Kench. And now they got mid T1. Good map play by CJ.
기가 막힌 운영이 연달아 나오고 있죠.
그러게 말이죠.
이렇게 하면은 샤이 쪽 신경 쓰기 더 어려운 게
Make them look one direction, hit the other, and then when they look that one, go back to the other one. It's very annoying to deal with.
리산드라가 있을 때 무서운 건 싸움을 능동적으로 열 수 있다는 거. 자, 이거는 강타 좋았나요?
예. 자, 계속해서 이제 코너로 좀 몰아붙이고 있는 CJ입니다. 상황 5대 4. 골도 앞서고 있는
스나이더 뒤.
Here we go. Remember I said you need to watch out for the Vlad flank.
자, 이거 리산드라도 넘어오면
자, 로크 점프로
슬로우 걸렸죠.
He got him.
샤이까지 매드라이프 이번에 타겟이 매드라이프 자, 스코피로 버텨는 매드라이프 전사 이게 뭡니까?
자, 앰비션도
이게
줄게요.
뭡니까? 앰비션 순식간에 3명의 선수가 전사.
I think they'll show a replay of it, so I'll wait. But basically, when you're looking at this, I remember I said you need to watch out for the Vlad flank. Because they want to fight. They don't want to be in this situation where you're playing around the map and going, okay, we're going to hit bot, then we're going to go mid, then we're going to go bot, and we're going to constantly make you move around. And since you have Vladimir, who's very slow, Gangplank, who's kind of slow, doesn't really have ways to just cut across the map, we don't want to be in that situation, so we're going to fight. And since they have GP ult, they can slow him. And then because GP also hit the barrel, that was pretty much it. That was GG there. Yeah, that was just Ever making the direct decision. We know what's gonna happen if we continue this path, so let's just take care of it now. They actually did that against SKT too. That's not something you see a lot of teams able to figure out. What do we need to do right in the moment? What is our predicament? How do we fix it? A lot of teams aren't able to do that. And I'll admit that the Vlad flank, it's not like Vlad flanking there was like, oh my god, he's flanking here, we're screwed now. But it did give them easy access to it, and they didn't. CJ didn't realize what was happening right away. And it's those types of wards in the mid. Usually you'll see teams when they're behind. Like you could put a ward in the lane, and then you look for a flank with your top laner to try to get ahead in one lane. But in this case, they're doing it because they want to. Actually, they were technically behind. Before that, I would say, because they lost Baron. I would say CJ was ahead. There's a lot of people here. They'll kill Tom Kench. Ooh, he flashed it. Look how persistent their engage is, and then look at the disengage by CJ. It's basically nothing. Ever can consistently push ahead because they have so many slows. Now, I don't agree with that TP at all. Because what is Shy gonna do? I'm actually curious what they thought Shy was gonna do in this situation. Shy's not gonna engage, you'll die right away. And they lost bot. Oh wait, oh no, they lost their Nexus turret, and they get Dragon because of that. Wow. And now they don't have TP for Baron, so they kind of like gimp themselves there now. So whatever just has to do is look for Baron. Make sure their waves are prepped, so you know mid's gonna push in on its own, but you can prep maybe bot wave or top wave. Crazy may have his TP up by then. So if Crazy will have his TP up. So you can have Crazy split push against Shy. And if they want to do Baron, well guess what? You have no way to answer that. Wow, if he gets caught here, they know they might have been able to actually kill Shy there if they committed GP ult. But the reason why they didn't is because they know Baron's coming up. And they know how crucial this Gangplank ult is to their team fight. That's actually something CJ or SKT didn't do in their game with Scout. They didn't respect what I say? Yeah, I would say they didn't respect their opponents on abusing their GP ult being down. I actually don't like what Ever's doing. They're siege. Why are they sieging like that? Oh my god. They just blew so many cooldowns, and that's gonna open a Baron up for CJ.
반응이
자 그리고
많죠.
본진 막아야 돼요. 본진 막아야 돼요. 코코씩 같습니다.
야, 본질 놓치고 있었어요.
네.
Okay, so Ever was sieging top, correct?
자, 바로 등지고 있는 CJ.
Wrong move. You should be baiting Baron,
본인들이 먹히면 움직임이라기보다는
trying to find a pick that way, while having Vlad split while Shy's TP is down.
자 아예 넘어오면서
Specifically bot lane, splitting bot lane.
그리고 이렇게 뭉쳐 있는 곳에서 확실히 갱플랭크가 부담이 되거든요.
자, 과연
Ever is making the wrong choice. Oh, this might be bad though for them.
자, CJ가 바로 먹었고.
자 칼리스타가
자, 포코가 좀
수훈 있어요.
수훈이 있는데요.
네, 뒤를 좁히는 RS.
이거
샤이도
프리죠.
위험합니다. 샤이도 위험합니다. 샤이.
샤이
대결투.
자, 포페
그런데
It's over.
플레이가 나오긴 나왔어요.
Yeah. CJ wants to go for that Baron. I think they should have started committing to it earlier, especially when they were very chunked, or Ever was very chunked.
이게 치명적이네요.
트위터 하나 남았어요. 외로운 타워, 솔로 타워, 싱글 타워.
자, 이거 알리 전면 있어요. 주면
Yeah. I think both teams sort of made mistakes at this point in the late game. Ever was sieging top, bad mistake. CJ not committing right away to the Baron. I know GP is up, you can kill the barrels. You just have to have someone stand back and try to kill the barrels, basically.
아레스가 진짜 오랜만에 플레이를 정말 잘해줬어요.
네, 그러니까는 아마 경기를 보신 분들
Try to bait out their teleports too would be very nice.
세미 프로 팀 대 프로팀, 뭐 CJ가 역사가 유구하고 에버 같은 경우는 신생이 얼마 있다. 그런 거 상관없이
Ever played better early. CJ had good map rotations
이걸로 이미 에버는
in the
본인들
starting in the mid game.
증명했습니다.
자, 과연 어디까지 갈 것인가 ESC.
Then Ever made some very good calls on engaging and identifying what they need to do to get straight back into the game and reclaim their hold on the game. Then they screwed up, then CJ screwed up, and then they won the game.
바텀에 집중한
그동안 정말 말
시작의 색깔을 띄워야 된다는
Okay,
말씀이신데, 자,
Here we go, game two.
선택을 앞두고 의견을
we have
주고받고 있는
Bard,
모습을 보이고
Band
있습니다.
again, makes sense. Rise, Band again, makes sense. Rek'Sai, okay. So they want to get rid of Rek'Sai.
탐켄치가 아니라
네.
Interesting. I guess it's because they've only seen Ares really on Rek'Sai.
답답한 감이 있다 보니까 알리스타를 생각을
Now we have Kindred's gone.
가서
Again,
원딜
makes
GP
sense.
쪽으로 갈
GP's
가능성이
gone,
있다
that would be
싶었는데
Coco's GP. Jace is
알리스타
gone again for Coco. So they're banning the best
과감한
and
모습을 보여주고
hardest carry on
이거는
CJ
좀더
Coco.
공격적으로 할 생각이 좀 있는 것 같습니다.
They first picked Lulu, so I can never remember if Shy plays Lulu or not. I think he does.
그리고 이 조합이 운명의
So that's probably most likely Coco's Lulu.
이니시팅 고치도 있긴
They
합니다만
first picked
조합이
Callista and
되면
Elise.
오, 가사도
So by getting Callista early game,
가사딘.
I like her into Lulu as well.
자, 별 고민이 없습니다, 오늘.
They take
가사딘,
Elise.
탐켄치.
Okay. Early pressure. Ambitions on Evelyn.
먼저 에버 쪽에서 가져가지 않을까 싶었거든요.
God no.
네. 징크스.
Oh. Okay. Evelyn's early pressure.
자, 또 한 번 라인 수합을 먼저 걸고
And Evelyn can
무난한 푸시
kill
후에
Elise
중간한
early,
보는 그런 조합이네요.
especially if she's ahead. Alistar picked, so now they have some hard engage. So what CJ sees next is they see the Caston pick, so that's late game scaling, and they have Callista for early, so it's sort of like, okay, so we have some spikes early, we have some spikes late. Tom Kench, so now that eliminates their chance for really having hard engage, unless Crazy's gonna pick something in the top lane that can. They can initiate with Riftwalk E, and then him backing out, they can have a Cocoon. Pretty much what we're looking at right now is their team has some good, I would say, good pick potential right now. And skirmish potential for sure. but not great team fighting right now. Whereas we look at CJ, they do have good team fighting. They have the Evelyn flank possibility, followed by pushing out their ADC with the Lulu.
근데 카사딘도 어떻게 보면은 뭐 최근에야 라인전에 대한 인식이 많이 바뀌기는 했으나 확실히 후반에 힘을 발휘하는 챔프에
Now Tristana takes a while to spike up. Lulu will spike a bit quicker than Tristana. Picking an early game oriented top laner means they want to snowball quick. And if they don't snowball quick, they at least can confirm that they have some late game with space. In other words, you could say it's sort of like the late game insurance for the team. Now, if I'm ever, we have early, we have Casson for late. They want to pick something that can split push effectively. Because there's really no... Oh, I guess they could do Malphite if they really want to. Because right now they have no hard engage. The only hard engage I can think of for the top lane is Malphite. If they want secondary engage, they could pick Gnar. If they want split push and just completely avoid it and just go like a 1-3-1 comp, because they have Casson, they could go Fiora. Or they could go Mundo. Interesting. So Mundo got some big buffs in 5.21. And against Renekton, Mundo's pretty much just going to sit back and throw cleavers, especially because he gets his health back, like all the health back from his cleaver if it kills the target. Mundo's also good for kiting, because the cooldown for cleaver is so short, he can just keep backing off, throw cleaver, throw cleaver, throw cleaver. And that's actually what CJ does to try to win fights. They have to rush forward. Especially with space. So if we're in like late game and space is like walking up, he just has to throw a cleaver. There goes all of his movement speed, and then they can jump on him. This actually may prove out to be a very good pick by Ever, this Mundo. He's also ridiculously annoying to deal with in the late game. And their main damage is all on Tristana, who's single target. If your Tristana has to solo focus the Mundo, and they still have a Cassidy and a Kalista to deal with, I like the comp. I like the comp by Ever. I think the Evelyn kind of gyps CJ a bit. In terms of how CJ wants to play this out, they want to take advantage of Mundo early. I know that. And that's their main way of winning. So they may, yeah. That's why we're not seeing CJ invade. Because Renekton can kill Mundo early. And if they can snowball Renekton before Mundo gets out of control, that will actually impact the game greatly. Like, it will be very difficult for Ever to have to deal with that throughout the entire game. Meanwhile, Ever's not lane swapping because... Wait, hold on. Do I have these? Oh no, I'm sorry. Ever is lane swapping because of the Mundo thing. Now maybe CJ, maybe we'll see like the same problem as the first game, where one team's trying to lane swap but gets caught by the wards, and the other team rotates away, so then they kind of get like this experience lead. I see what CJ did though. CJ places a ward by blue golems, so over here. What that does is it puts pressure on Ever to not want to start there. CJ is actually answering this. Why? Why? Wait, why? Why would they do that? Okay, so this actually leaves an option, as I mentioned in the previous game. If you start on your strong side and you're matching them right now, and they know they didn't start in their own jungle, like this side here, they have the option to gank top or look for a dive top if they were pushing it. I prefer trying to do something like that. Now Coco's a very aggressive Lulu, like Faker. So Athena's actually gonna get abused. It's not gonna be like I'd say like X-Peke, where he will actually be more passive with his champions, because he just wants to make it a farm lane and then affect the team fights.
그 선수들과 다 함께 뱀픽 연구하고 조합 관련된 운영도 뭐 피드백하고 그걸 통해서 발전을 하고 있습니다.
그렇죠. 지금 백업 선수가 이제 라이언 선수, 폴리스 선수, 토토로 선수까지.
If I was Ares, I would have. Actually, you know what? When did they place those wards?
원래는 커플이 이 커플이 아니에요. 안 두고 싶은 것 같고요.
체력이 좀 빠졌던 아테나고 근데 저는
244. He could have caught him out if he had
에버 같은 경우는 사실은 이제 이런
I think Ares could have caught one of them out early on.
조계현 코치도 있긴 있지만 이제 나머지 서브로 있는 선수들까지 같이 이야기를 해요. 그래서 항상 경기 전후로 그 선수들과 다 함께 뱀픽 연구하고 조합 관련된 운영도 뭐 피드백하고 그걸 통해서 발전을 하고 있습니다.
그렇죠. 지금 백업 선수가
Ooh,
라이언 선수, 폴리스
I just
선수,
realized
토토로
something.
선수까지 세 명이나 있어요.
I actually discussed this during Champ Select, how I said the Mundo can pretty much just sit back, throw cleavers. I don't know why it occurred to me why they wouldn't just let that occur. And honestly, Ever could just let Mundo sit back and throw cleavers while having them gain the matchup they want with Callista. Okay, Shy face checks, he gets slowed. He's dead. He pushed in the lane, he looked toward, he gets caught by Ares. His jungler's on the complete opposite map, so it makes it pretty damn risky to be pushing in the first place. Yikes. Yikes, the Mundo is ahead. That was your matchup to win early. Ooh. If I'm CJ, what do we have to do to try to fix this? Ambition needs to path. Okay, first off, top side is difficult to gank because of Tahm Kench. Mid lane should be a priority, and bot lane should be a priority. It should be the solo lane focuses or CJ, because Caston and Priest 6 can't get away from things. If you burn his flash, then you're in business. Caston will have to stand back even further. And the more you can deny his CS and deny his Roa, then the slower he'll spike, and the more time you have to abuse your Renekton, hit your Tristana Lulu spike, and try to take over the game before Ever gets out of control in the late. And you target the bot lane because you want your Renekton to snowball. If your Renekton snowballs, then he takes over that lane. There's immense pressure that Ever has to deal with constantly, and they already have a Cassidon who's gonna probably get abused early on. Yeah. This is looking good for Ever. I hope Ambition identifies what he has to do. He can't sit back and farm on Evelyn. And especially with the comps, how they are, he can't sit back. Now if I'm Ever, what does Ever want to do? Top lane is gankable, mid lane is not gankable, bot lane is gankable. So his focus would be on his dual lane and his top laner. His mid laner, it's always too hard. And perfect. Just perfect. That was very good by Ever. So basically, what they do here is they send Ares bot, knowing that if they're looking at the lanes for which CJ can gank, it's mid or it's bot. Okay, those are your two options. With bot being the most highest, having the highest priority. But since Kasten hit 6, they're thinking, okay, Kasten is 6. If I'm Ambition, I know that ganking that lane now is pretty much gone. That makes bot lane the best choice. Well, Ares passed this correctly. He identifies what CJ wants to do, and since Ambition isn't some jungler that you have to be saying, oh my god, what's Ambition gonna do? Is he gonna trick me going somewhere else? Ambition isn't like that.
에버가 얼마나 좀 영악하고 영리한 팀인지를 생각을 하면은 더 신중해져야 되는.
Good start for Ever. If anyone's ever faced a Mundo that snowballs, it's the worst thing ever. You'll never kill him.
6레벨 됐고 자 혼자서 RS 일단은 드래곤을 두들겨 주고 있습니다.
It's like when Maokai, when he was in meta, would get ahead. He wasn't like the type of laner that you thought, wow, this guy's just gonna outright kill me. He became unkillable himself.
딜건 꽤 잘했습니다.
네. 자 뽑아 지졌고
꽤 잘했어요 지금
스페이스
딜건.
많이 체력이 빠졌어요.
도 순간 이동 있고 레넥톤 있는 상태.
이게 순간적으로 6렙 되자마자 놀 수 있어요. 그러면
네.
전면이 빠질 수가 있습니다. 잡히진 않을 것 같긴 한데.
네.
Ah, now this is an interesting choice. So we just Ares decided to go with challenging Smite. Now by going challenging Smite, that means if he ever gets into like a small skirmish or duel against Ambition, he could actually win that because of that. And it still slows a little bit, not as much as chilling Smite. I like that choice by Ares there, to go challenging Smite. Kasten still looking for his Roa. The typical timer you get Roa on Kasten is about the 11 minute 30 second mark. So that means you're spiking about roughly in the 20 minute mark, while you'll have like maybe a partially completed item plus full stack Roa. That's the goal for Kasten, pretty much, the 21 minute mark. Meanwhile, they'll definitely have Bork done by then. They will have... They won't have Hurricane done. Well, actually, no. By the 21 minute mark, they may have Hurricane done. I'm saying at the 11 minute mark, they probably won't have Hurricane done. Mundo will definitely have Sunfire, and then maybe even another item. They'll have a really good spike at 21 minutes, from the looks of it so far. Meanwhile, CJ will not have the same spikes at that time.
정말 문도 잘 크면 그한타 정말 어려워집니다 이거.
문도 지금 8레벨 기록하고 있고요. 예스나 캐시스. 아래를 아래스로 못 받고 야 스페이스. 와.
Okay.
와.
이거는 진짜 스페이스가 탐켄치와의 거리를 안 주기 위해서.
So this was smart in the sense that it's more unpredictable.
이거 기가 막힌 RS 역갱으로 탐켄치가 한번 세이브하고 막 이럴 수가 있었는데.
문도 올라옵니다.
I want to go back a bit. Let's see the lead up. So, first off, we see CJ's letting the wave get pushed a bit. That gives the impression that they want it to be ganked. That's why we see... Okay, never mind. This isn't even being unpredictable. This is just Ever being stupid here. Look, you know, if you're sitting back as CJ, that means you want the lane to start pushing towards you to make the gank easier to gank, as I mentioned. If I'm Ever, and you're identifying that, you don't need to shove the wave, you just need to keep the wave still, frozen in that area. Wait till Ares shows up, and look for the counter gank. That was actually very easy to read. Not unpredictable. Kasten's actually ahead in lane, too, by the way. Because Lulu can't really kill him at this point now. Early, she can aggress on him a lot, but now it's kind of too late.
1경기처럼 쭉쭉 밀리게 되는 상황까지는 만들지 않고 있다라는 걸 또 눈여겨봐야겠네요.
Because he can do stuff like that.
가사딘이 너무 무난하게 크는데요. 암만 생각해도 이거.
92 이제 상황.
그 정도로 아래쪽을
So Ares has made good calls throughout this game on counter ganks, where to be at the right time. Great pathing by him. Sorry, losing my voice there. Great pathing by him. Ambition has been very readable. as predicted. Hasn't made much impact with his Evelyn. Yeah, sure, he's ahead in farm, but
예. 탑으로
he hasn't done anything with it.
잘 던져보고.
So CJ decides to make the choice to keep their lanes up there, while Ever Ever wants to get Dragon. That's why they sent their dual bot.
그리고 바텀 쪽으로 또 일부 선수들이 발걸음 옮겼습니다. 포탑 하나 깨고 있는 CJ 투스.
자 이거 탑라인을 크게 밀면 본도가
So they're gonna trade turrets.
프리징하면서
예.
아래쪽으로 힘주면
예.
자 뭔가 좀 더 스톱으로 될수
오케이.
있어요.
자 뒤로 한 걸음 물러서고 있는 크레이지 분도.
점화 믿고 다이브하기에도 점화도 없어서
예.
결국은 이거 라인사 폰 판단도
예.
똑똑했습니다.
그거나 이거 더 세게 밉니다. 쉽게
네.
좋습니다 이거.
자 일단 탑 쪽에 2차 타워를 두들기고 있는 상황에서
길게 가긴 좀 무서워요.
예.
탐켄치의 궁극이 지금 두렵습니다. 그러니까 CJ가 어쨌든 잘해줬고
Okay, now they're backing off a bit.
bit.
Yeah, they can't stay top forever, or else they'll get collapsed on.
피해를 많이 입혀놨었다라는 거예요. 그런 어떤 주도권을 이 보티오 대 보티오 싸움에서 가져가고 있었다는 건데 타워 거질 그 터질 타이밍이 되다 보니까는 문도 보내고 어떤 소멸되는 CS 거의 없이 자연스럽게 문도가 경험치 먹어받으면서 본인들도 아래 밀고 드래곤까지 가져가는.
그리고
예.
그 아래쪽으로 상대가 넘어가는 걸 알았음에도
네.
CJ가 자
자, 한번 들이받아보는데 일단
They don't even have any power spikes right now, to be honest.
CJ!
맨날 픽스해줬습니다. 그리고
네.
왜 이렇게 했냐면
예.
일단 첫 번째 드래곤이
네.
골드를 주는 것도 아니고 일단 골드
And what we're seeing here right now,
CJ의 판단이었죠.
CJ doesn't have any power spikes, so technically they are behind and they should have no right to be doing this. But what they're doing instead, sort of take advantage of it, is instead they're just rotating across the map wherever has, I would say, worse map play than CJ in some ways. CJ has actually shown to have better map play, at least in the mid game, although we're not in the mid game. They take top. Oh, that's bad.
진짜 매섭네요 아테나.
Anyways, besides getting distracted from that, CJ takes top, they rotate mid.
역으로 여기를
Ever is not really catching on to this, because they just sort of want to continue going through the lanes, because they're winning them. Meanwhile, CJ is identifying, you know what, we're getting smashed, not smashed I would say, but we're getting screwed in these lanes. We're not accomplishing anything, and our ganks aren't leading to much either. So let's just try to take these turrets, open up the map, let Ambition have more space to do things, and let's get rolling from there.
대처가 나왔습니다.
로컨의 움직임이 핵심이었습니다. 크레이지를 바텀으로 보낸 상황에서 로컨이 트리스탄을 보고 글로 따라간 게 아니라 미드로 뛰면서 그 어떤 앰비션의 궁극과 전멸까지 빼내면서 자연스럽게 미드까지 밀어내는 ESC 에버의 순간적인 오더와 판단 능력이 정말 빛이 났습니다.
그리고 CJ도
Now, Ever did get the answer back.
보호해줄 만한 조합이 있습니다.
근데 지금 싸움이 매드라이프가 궁극이 없어서
키와 함께 3명의 선수가 앞서고
부담됩니다. 이거는 CJ가 문도 왔어요. 문도 왔어요. 앰비션 전멸 없고요.
He has no flash.
그래도
자, 뒤로 칼 피하고 자, 살려주고 있는 키.
CJ도 순식간에 합류했습니다.
네. 자, 캔치구도 랭터 빠져나왔고.
Tristana works in the Tom Kench as well. I didn't really address that during the draft phase. Because her explosive shot will go off even if you eat the person. It will affect both people instead, basically.
때문에 좀 더 CJ는 여기서 미드 타워만 해도 밀고 싶을 텐데 밀기가 쉽지가 않네요.
그렇죠.
일제히 방어진을 치고 있는 ESC보였습니다.
네, 이거는 비계급 먹기 위해서 서로
Looking at the waves are pushing for Ever.
자, 위쪽으로 올라가고
With
있는 로켄
this
선수.
pressure, they can't do much because they're still not even close to the turrets yet. The wave is building up top though, and that may be a priority for Ever. So they may be rotating towards that wave to push it, which they are doing.
체크를 했고 앰비션의 움직임 돌아서 그래서 뒤에서 물겠다라는 건데 핑하가 있었죠. 앰비션 움직임 봤습니다.
이렇게
네, 더 들어가면은 빨려 들어가면서 위험할 수도 있고 앨리스가 없는 걸 CJ가 확실히 알다 보니까 위험할 수 있었는데 서로 핑크와드를 통해서
So we have Black Cleaver done for Shy. IE is done on Space.
그래도 어쨌든 계속 시선을 돌리면서
That's not enough yet.
성장 자체는 만들어내고
They're gonna look
있어요.
for the 2 item spikes for both Lulu and Tristana.
네, 또 이 바톤 쪽에서 혼자
못 봤어요.
Ro is at 3 stacks, so that means he's finished at like the 4 stacks, so that means he finished at the 12-minute mark, so he was just a little off the regular time. Sunfire's done now, good.
팽팽한 상황에서
We're starting to hit a few spikes now.
잘 성장한 게 무섭기는 하지만은
Remember, the main spike for the comp that Ever's sort of looking for is around the 21-minute mark,
룰루를 무력화시키면서
which so happens to be the time that
네.
CJ도 마음이
CJ sort of wants to be hitting their spikes as well.
레드라이프와 함께
Now, Ever will continue to hit higher spikes as the game progresses.
이제 43초 후면은 다시 용이 등장합니다.
And once CJ does hit their big spike with Lulu and Tristana, they need to push that right away.
명대까지 그냥 아예 빠르게 크레이지 선수가 올리면서 라인 수합을 앞으로도 상황에 따라 적극적으로
바텀으로
자 누가 싸먹는 거지?
앞뒤로
자, 먼저
앨리스 놓고요.
자, 앨리스 죽었고요.
자 스페이스 빠져주고 자 로컬
자, 로컨
꾸준히 딜 넣고 있고 아테나도 아직 멀쩡합니다.
이게 또 레드가 꺾을 수 없는 바지는 위험해 보이는데요.
자 매드라이프 콩
와,
로컬 매드
와, 매드라이프.
전면 나고 있었어요. 자 지속 싸움 되면은 이거는
아직 중적 키가
제보가 할만하거든요.
자, 먼저 매드라이프 전사 체력이 골고루 빠져 있는
아테나 아테나
카트들이 잡았습니다.
죽으면서 로컬
That was so greedy by him. Okay, what did we notice here?
한타 진짜 잘하네요.
So,
양팀 다.
CJ found a great pick. Ambition scouted out the Tom Kenchel. They had a great plan. After they got the first,
드래곤 등장.
should they only get 1 kill off this?
꽤 오래 싸웠죠.
그렇죠.
No, I think Ares died.
우리 진짜
Once they killed Ares, they should have just backed out. Like, they don't have. Technically, Ever is still ahead.
에버가 사실은 불리하게 시작하는 타나 마찬가지로.
Just watch how this fight starts out.
본인들이 이제 그
Okay, look, they identified this, right?
생각했음에도 불구하고
So they get the faster teleport because they're being proactive.
승을 먼저 맞았는데
They go straight onto Ares.
이후의 움직임. 크레이지가
Boom, right there. The second they're coming in,
전장 이탈 시키고
they needed to start kiting it out a bit. Because whatever's doing, Ivor's just kiting them. Like, they have no initiation left because Alistar used his combo already. And they have Tom Kench Mundo. And the second they get them low enough, then Cassin can pretty much just walk in.
그래서 잘하는 게 아니라 그 전에 움직임이 진짜 좋았네요.
어그로 핑퐁이라고 말하지 않습니까?
So good idea by CJ, but then getting way too greedy like that. Like, what is Space thinking? Unless he didn't have rocket jump, then I can understand.
크리티컬만 터졌다면 이런 생각할 만했죠. 오히려
베이스.
아테나!
진짜 무섭네요 이 선수.
Okay, him getting caught up.
스페이스가
Caught out.
잡고 죽었으면 조합이 스페이스의 성장이 기대해야 되는 조합이었기 때문에 더 아플 뻔했습니다.
어쨌든 아테나의 강력한 성장을 확인은 했으나
And they're trading top T1, and they're going to continue to push this.
분명히 이건 CJ가 맞습니다.
They will lose their outers, but they don't care because they know those outers are going to go down eventually, probably.
자, 이걸 막느냐가 중요한데요.
But going for a T2,
이거 막을 생각이에요.
That is more valuable.
막을 생각입니다. 라인 클리어 하고요. 룰루도 있거든요.
막기 위해서 움직이는 샤이.
막기만 하면 된다. 막기만 하면 우리가 이득이다. 맞습니다.
네, 일단은
Okay.
한번 접어주고
good
있는
pressure, and because the pressure was so much, they didn't even lose bot T1 yet.
거침없이 몰아붙이고 있습니다.
정말 아테나를 잡긴 했는데
He has Hurricane done.
객관적으로 봤을 때는 CJ가 이득을 보는 게 맞다라고 말씀은 드렸으나 그건 어떻게 보면
He finished around the 13-minute mark, I think.
감성적으로는
No, it was like the 12-minute mark or so for his Roa.
놀랍네요.
So he'll be at around the 22-minute mark spike. If he had Lichbane done in that time, that would have been so big.
잡혔지만 성장이 안
Because then you would have 2-item Callista plus 2-item Kassadin. Meanwhile, CJ's still trying to look for their Lulu Triss spike.
맞습니다. 그러니까 한타가 아까 같은 구도가 될 가능성이 굉장히 높아요. 그 CJ가 굉장히 잘 싸운 것 같고 싸움을 한데도 불구하고 에버가 정말 아슬아슬하게 어그로 핑퐁하면서 애매한 체력들로 살아있는데 트리가 그거 뭐 하나를 마무리를 못하고 카사딘이 딱 달려드는 이런 상황이 나올 가능성이 높기 때문에 그럴 생각조차도 못하게 매드라이프 확실히 끊어줘야 됩니다 지금.
자 미드 쪽으로 일단.
자 이거 레넥톤을 노려주려고
Okay, I haven't
했던 거였는데
predicted much. This game is much, or at least trying to predict as much.
이거 스페이스가 역으로 매드라이프와 함께
If I'm ever, our cast is about to have 10 Roa, so yes, you can have him split like they're doing now. Their main comps agreement, in my opinion, would be going for the 1-3-1. But if they do, they could, based on the waves, since mid wave is getting cleared out and top wave is pushing out, and they know top T2 is injured, they can look to try to finish that off while Cassidy buys time. Especially if they see Mad Life here, they will go for it. Meanwhile, if I'm CJ, we need to figure out a way to kill someone. Cassidy is hard to kill, first of all. No, we still don't have our. I think they would just want to sit on their spikes. They want to wait to hit their main spikes. Decap, static shiv. Okay, and this is what they're gonna do. Because this is injured, they're gonna take it out.
알리가 잘 뛰었어요. 하지만 딜이 마무리
자 아테나 넘어옵니다.
I mean, look how far out they're pushing this. They see an opportunity, they'll just go for it.
마무리까지 이어지지 않았다라는 점.
자 거침없이 계속해서 쭉쭉 밀고 있는 예세버.
이렇게 아슬아슬해도 죽지만 않으면서 어쨌든
10 rows, 10 stack row is about to be done soon.
필요하기는 해요. 네, 그건 맞습니다.
자 스페이스가 크기를 바라고 있는 CJ 엔투스.
I should be static shiv for space now.
칼리스타가 못 큰 게 아니라 그리고 이제 흑사기의 존재도 있고 그나마 이쪽에서 어지럽히고 이쪽까지 민 거는 그나마 괜찮은 상황이죠.
네. 바로 1차 타워를 가져간 CJ였습니다.
근데 문제는 안타죠.
네. 뒤에 있어요 또 앨리스도.
Yeah, so CJ sitting on their power spikes. Ever, they can pressure whatever they want, to be honest. They can do the 1-3-1 very easily. There's no way in hell Shy's gonna be killing Mundo anytime soon. Especially because he has to delay, he completely delayed his build. And all he has is a black cleaver, that's not enough to kill Mundo. Yeah, you notice that Mundo is completely skipping out on MR. There's a reason for that. It's because Lulu doesn't do that much damage. And she's not going to be focusing the Mundo. And the main source of damage is Tristana. So this actually makes the build path for Mundo very easy. Randuin's is done. Lichbane is done. Last Whisper is done. This is a big power spike for Ever. And they're matching this big power spike with the big power spike by CJ. So if CJ decides to fight, it's not like, granted, they're going to be smashing these fights now. Especially because, again, their main source of damage is the Tristana. He has Randuin's done now. He has reduction in crits, reduction in auto attacks. It's a lot. And CJ is not. Wow. CJ didn't read this. I'm trying to see what makes him decide to do this. Let's look at the waves first of all. Bot wave is pushing out. Mid wave is going to be pushing. Top wave is going to be pushing. So they have pressure in 3 lanes. Though bot wave isn't going to be amounting to much yet. The identify Renekton is there. As I said, they're on a big power spike right now. They know how strong they are. And CJ doesn't identify it. My god. The map's completely dark. They have no wards on the map. They have only defensive wards in the bot lane. I should be able to identify that, to be honest. It's a pretty easy choice to see.
바로 버프 받으면서 움직여요.
자 여기 일단
예.
먹어놓고 와 이 타이밍에 그냥 억제기 앞까지 압박할 생각인데요
그러게
이거?
말입니다.
And now that they have this big wave top, now they're just looking to hit this way. Oh my god, this is just it's set up so perfectly right now for them.
말도 안 되게 싸우지
자,
않아요.
That was really dumb by Athena.
아직은 살아있는 상황. 어그로 핑퐁 마무리를 못하고.
아, 로컨이 너무 잘 컸어요.
But it was also dumb by CJ to even try to
레드라이프가 아테나를 놀리는
like they okay, I like the pulverize to try to, you know, Athena's chunked. Like you just have to back out of that and delay the where am I trying to go? What's the word I'm looking for? Delay the Baron power play.
억제기
잘하네요.
4명이 죽었어요. 롤로
Very good play by Ever right now though.
그냥 라인전만 잘하는 것도 아니고
CJ was waiting.
우리가 가져갈 수 있는 최대
They never secured vision around Baron. Ever identified, hey, guess what? You guys don't have anything here. We have our spikes. We know we can easily deal with you because we have the Mundos. Even if you hit your spikes, we have the Mundo, as I mentioned. So let's go for Baron. And their waves were perfectly set up for that.
순간적으로 아테나를 잡아주려는 그 순간 판단은 좋았어요. 이거 충분히 매드라이프가 잘 들어갔거든요.
네.
근데 여기서
안 죽어요.
딜이 보잖아요.
예.
근데 그동안에 로컨이 정말 신나게 플리드링합니다.
그렇습니다. 아, 트리가 살짝 뒤쪽에 있어서 한번 빠져주느라 지속적으로 딜을 못 넣었었고요.
아니 지금 이제 오신 분들이 그 SK 팬 여러분들 많으시잖아요.
네네.
좋은 장면 나올 때 박수를 보내주는데 자 C 아니 뭐 한타만 한타 반짝인 반짝이.
네.
와.
거기다가 불안 요소가
예.
체력들이 전반적으로 낮기 때문에 어쨌든 스페이스가
Okay.
살아서 뭐 하나라도 킬하면은
So what is the goal for Ever now? So we took top T1, right?
죽었어요. 드래곤도 먹었어요.
Goal is just to focus.
그 순간
two
거의
targets now.
탈진이 진짜 좋았어요.
네.
You can split
타고
as you are
뭔가
with
킥을
Cassidy.
만들고 전멸 타면서 뭔가 사이즈를 쟀는데
It's hard to engage on a Mundo, Tom Kench,
아, 이거 CJ 팬
and
여러분들
Elise.
제발
Because Elise has Cocoon,
기원하고 있을 건데.
Mundo has Cleavers, Tom Kench has his Tongue. That's a lot of just like incoming projectiles that you can't really. Like, you have to have some great dancing feet of your space. And since he has Lichbane, this was their choice to do. They knew they were gonna do a split push with Cassidy.
바텀.
And they can split with Mundo if they want to, but it's safer to do it with 4-1.
여기저기서 이야.
네네네.
연신 터져나옵니다.
일단
I like the Mundo pick still though.
많이 기대가 되는 조합인데
I should keep that in the back of my mind, especially when they identified that all their damage was basically going to be on the
저희 로컬
Tristana.
선수 성장이 너무 잘 돼가지고 그렇지 않습니다. 그리고
우려된 것처럼 이블린이
네.
이런 곳에서 힘쓰기가 정말
그렇죠.
힘듭니다.
네.
순간적으로 공을 잘 맞춰서
예.
Because when you think about it,
하더라도
their choices that they can make at that point,
그
Renekton beats most of them. Like Fiora will lose to Renekton. Malphite loses to Renekton. But Mundo may lose to Renekton. But he also can play extremely safe and just go even as well, which is exactly what they want.
쭉쭉쭉 밀고 내려오고 있고 바텀도 신경 써야 될 상황이 연출되고 있습니다.
또 밀었어요. 절경기 판방입니다.
And now we get into the play where it's like, you can push mid, rotate your group to the split pusher, and then try to force that objective down while you have top wave, mid wave, and bot wave all being impacted. And you still have the group 5, so there's a lot of pressure there as well. It's a rather simple plan on how to approach and close out the game. And I really wish teams would actually pay attention to this more often, and how to just close out a game. Some teams will try to get really fancy. It's not as hard as they think and how to close out a game when you're this far ahead. Now we have Zhonya's done. We're going for even more armor on Mundo. We have Riley's done. Meanwhile, we look at CJ. They have 3 item Trist, 2 item Lulu. Shy has jack shit. And we have tank Evelyn.
자, CJ 어떻게 풀어야 되죠?
Yeah.
뭐 엄청난 맹활약이라기보다는
Not gonna do much. Also, the Mikhails, I do not agree with Mikhails.
어떤 식으로 플레이해야 되는지 너무나 잘 알고 있는 것 같고
CJ의 팬 여러분들에게 방법을 좀 제시해 드려야 될 것 같은데.
네, 지금은
It actually gives him a bit. I'd rather him just get the shield instead. Well, I can't remember what the upgrade's actually called. Mountain? Face the mountain? Either face the mountain or get some way to actually accelerate your speed.
말도 안 되게 걸리는 거 말고는 제가 보기엔 답이 없어요.
그래서 한타에서 와르르 무너지지 않으면 네.
그러니까 빠르게 하나를 죽여야 됩니다. 어떻게든.
네, 그거밖에 없습니다 이거.
자, 카사디는 바텀 쪽에서 또 뭔가를 열심히.
So again, here we go. If they get the wave cleared mid, then the group 4 will rotate bot.
탑 쪽에
사실상 쉽지가 않아요.
미니언 밀려요. 탑 쪽에. 바텀 쪽에 카사디 엔지기 전방위적으로 좌압박을 받고 있어요 지금.
여기서 만약에 건물 더 밀린다, 다음 바론도 주는 거고 게임 완벽하게 기우는 겁니다.
이게 지금 탑 억제기가 그나마
Okay, inhibitors back up. That's an objective.
CJ 팬 여러분들 입장에서 정말 반가운 소식이죠.
네, 안 그래도
Baron's coming up soon though. That's the main objective. If they get Baron, they can close out this game. They don't even need the next dragon.
ESC에 뭐 집에 갔다가 뭐 잡으러 갑니까? 바론 쪽으로 갑니까? 또
So they'll secure vision, they'll get prior setup. It'll be very hard for CJ to walk into that.
해야 됩니다. CJ가
네.
They constantly use Tom so both these teams have used Tom Kenchel in a sense to just quickly get to locations for setup. Not always for flanks. That was actually something I originally thought of when Tom Kench was being released. I was thinking to myself, well, if you have Tom Kench, his ultimate basically allows your dual lane to go back to lane quickly. If you, like, for instance, it's almost like having a teleport in some ways. So he face checks. He's dead. Shy's dead.
진짜 제일 중요한 이니시에이팅. 매드라이프만 일단 물면 뒤가 없다. 변수가 없다.
He's dead. And that's game.
CJ가 코너 끝까지 몰립니다. CJ가.
Actually, wait, do they have time? Yeah, they have a wave.
억제기 2개 밀고 바론, 드래곤 다 선택할 수 있죠.
자, 표정이 편안해진 ESC의 선수의 모습이 지금 하단에 보이고 있는데요.
I mean, I think they could have tried to end, but it would be a bit risky with the Lulu Triss still.
이득까지 그 이후에 운영이 너무 좋았어요. 그리고 계속 정면간의 심리전. 그리고 이제 본인들이
Especially because Cassin had teleport. They could have just had they probably could have ended. Oh well.
어제부터 과연 에버의 상황 오도가 누구지?
They're choosing the safer choice, but they could just use Cassin to come back. And use Mundo to come back, also.
이런 선택은 정말 좋죠. 드래곤이라도 저기 플레이 그리고 이런 플레이를 통해서 어찌됐든
Okay, they deny Dragon, but they don't really care because their whole objective is to get Baron.
우리가 6만 골드, 7만 골드 이상까지 게임 장기전으로 가서 역전하자.
CJ is looking for a pick.
네.
Lo and behold, when you're behind, the easiest way to get back in is to look for an ambush pick.
앞라인이 유지가 돼야
If you catch someone out, you delay the game. Though I think in this late game, they're still screwed no matter what. So I don't think it really would matter even if they got the ambush pick.
본인들의 전매 특허라면 그거의 약점이 뭔지도 잘 알죠. 바로 그냥 포격 팝니다.
바로 버프까지.
앞라인이 너무 단단해요. 에버의 조합이.
자, 이제 바텀 지역 쪽으로 세게 위협을 가하고 있는 ESC에버. 자, 막아서야 될 CJ.
지금 중앙과 위가 열려서
네, 맞습니다.
여기를 계속 막고 기다리기.
Since they have one Nexus turret, the pressure is going to be...
타워 녹아내렸고요.
It will be too difficult to deal with.
뒤를 쫓고 있는 ESC에버.
여기서 서로 때리는
And what do you do? Like, you can't do anything as CJ. You have a form of engage with... You have two forms of engage, basically. But if either of those guys go in, they're dead.
자, 크레디가 버텨주고 고치 조심해야 돼요. 예.
마지막 타워인데요.
아, 앰비션 공도 빠져서 이제 불기가 좀 힘들죠.
네.
어그로 끌고 서서히 무너집니다 이거.
So many empowered Baron minions.
아테나 어느새 다시 들어가서 게임을 끝냅니다. 와, 에버.
Game over. So basically what we learned from that game is Mundo's a good pick for whatever wanted to do, and a good pick that works into what CJ wanted to do. Ambition was easily read by Ares every single time, and even though Ever actually made a mistake, knowing that they should have read that there was going to be a gank top and wait, they got a little antsy. If they got a counter gank there and won that fight as well, Ever would snowball very quickly. Great Baron call by them. CJ had actually some good map rotations early on when they went for the turrets to try to delay Ever. But because they had to recall back, Ever sort of traded it back anyways. After taking Baron, what did they do? They pressured top lane again. Got some, I guess you could say, good map plays because they were pretty much forcing the, okay, we're going to be mid, then we're going to be bot, and if you, let's say, clear the wave mid, then we're just going to rotate bot. Let's see what else. I mean, that was pretty much it. Like, after Ever got, like, ahead, CJ really has no ways of just to win the game, because they have no damage. And I don't like the Evelyn pick. Main reason I don't like the Evelyn pick is just because it's ambition. Just give him Gragas, for God's sakes. Gragas would work for that team comp they had anyways. Okay, Jace ban, Lulu ban, Elise ban, those are basically the same. Kindred, Bard, Rise, basically the same. Gangplank, first pick again. The Gangplank was so annoying, but this time they identify, let's take Rek'Sai first. Deny that annoying global that they can play around with, and then take him with Tomcatch. I actually would have preferred if they went Alistar, because by going Alistar, then you have two forms of engage, with Alistar being much more reliable. And you can't eat an orange. You can't W out of a knockup. Wow. They picked all their laners first. And both of those can flex. And so what you're already seeing by Ever is we have GP late game spike, Kalista for good for early game, Lissandra good early game and good mid game. They tiered up their power spikes very well here. Lissandra, if she locks anyone down, that's a free barrel. You have GP ult to zone them, and then you can try to solo focus them with Lissandra. You have easy dives with Lissandra and Kalista because of face calls, you can pull people out. And you have GP as well to help defend. Oh my god, they have so many tools here from just these three picks. Whereas with CJ, we picked Renekton. So if it's a Lissandra top, Renekton can kill her, but it's a little difficult. They picked Tristana again. But Tristana's good into Kalista, so I understand that. What will Ever take though? They can't take Rek'Sai. They just played Elise, but they once. Should they go Gragas? If they go Gragas, they can split up the team. And yes, please go Alistar. I like the Gragas pick. I really do like the Gragas pick if they do that. Because then they can split up the team even more. And if they do Lee Sin, it's still not bad because he has good early game, better early game than Gragas to impact the game more. And he also can still split up the team with his kick. And if you do Lee Sin kick someone back, and you have Lissandra ult, that person's probably dead. Okay, so I respect the Lee Sin pick. Good that they took Alistar. Coco's year.
완벽하게 그러면은 후반 한타 안정적으로
If there ever was a time that he needed to solo carry his team, this year would probably be the best choice.
아지르 같은 경우에는 나그네 선수가 굉장히 멋진 플레이 너무 멋져서 사실
They need damage. They need damage in the mid. Because if they lose the top lane matchup again, like it's not worth the risk.
감사합니다.
탐켄치 협체집을 사용했어요.
협체집.
Oh my god, I went so far ahead.
협체에서 기본적으로 초반부터 생각해.
Okay, so I want to think of what do both of these teams want to do. If ever lane swaps, okay. Well, ever right now we see them, they're gonna try to invade bot. I think the general idea is CJ wants the lane swap, if anything. Because there's a Lissandra, because there's a Callista, such good early game, they rather not have to deal with it.
라인 스왑을 에버가 절대 허용을.
But what I find intriguing is that they're posturing bot.
야, 이것도 CJ가 좀 생각을 많이 했네요. 라인 스왑을 보기 위해서 와드깔로 오는 걸 기다리고 있다가 한번 끊어보겠다.
네.
30초 남았습니다.
시야에 들어왔었고요.
네, 체크 됐죠? 자,
네, 나 봤어.
대신 갱프를 갑자기 맞아주고요.
자, 퇴로를 물 생각이죠 이거.
Ooh.
쪽으로 그냥 첨파.
근데 알리가 알리 1.4 한번 뛰었는데
He doesn't start E first either.
자, 1렙 점프 찍었습니다. 키. 로컨 힐 한번 주고요.
딜이 안 됐고.
This is such a mess.
결국 알리는데.
Coco died. Wow.
자, 뒤에 알리스
잡기 화력이. 오, 샤이 잘 빠졌네요.
So they traded a kill on Lissandra for a kill on Tristana.
CJ가 좀 더 많이 빠졌고.
Probably one of the worst trades you could do.
그나마 트리스타나가 1킬을 먹은 건 좋은 상황이지만
예.
딜 너무 많이 빠졌습니다.
네. 그동안
The reason why that's probably one of the worst trades
돌아온 싸움꾼 아나키에게 싸움에서 안 밀렸고
네.
어제는 만골
is mainly because by doing that, first off, Tristana's not going to abuse as much early, especially because she has a Tom Kench.
아유 감사합니다.
And Lissandra wants an early spike. She wants to start rolling.
이렇게 놀라운 모습을 보여주고 있는 남성 팬 여러분 감사드리는데요.
자,
행복합니다.
약팀의 그 미드법 포인트들을 좀 정리.
Yeah, he can get another Dorans. Ooh,
크레이션즈 리산드라가 퍼블을 먹고
That's gonna be rough.
돌면서 라인에 복구하고
That's gonna be very rough.
토란을 통해서 차이 선수 압박을 확실하게 줄 수 있어요. 자, 이거 좀 볼까요?
자,
아래스인데요.
이게 이제베 레드라서
야, 빠져나오는 포포.
네.
예.
반면에
I love Ares pathing.
귀환해서 아이템을 끌어당기지
I actually think this guy,
칼리스타가 라인 복귀가 느려서 바텀 쪽
I really want to see Ever in the LCK at this point.
결국 탑은
Because what he's doing, he's usually making the correct calls right now.
팀이 이거를 좀 벌릴 필요성이
He knows that Coco's pushing mid. This is a gankable lane. I have my trinket up. Let's go.
아테나가 그래도 버틸 수는 있습니다만 그 템포
Meanwhile, we have him facing Ambition as well, and Ambition is one of the most. He's so easy to read as a jungler that it's just,
이런 게 진짜
if he's easy to read and you have correct good pathing calls,
트리스타나의
it's gonna help you win the game
패시브를
in the
통해
early
뒤로
game.
빠져주면서 추가 공격 안 받고 트리가 때리려고 들어왔다 뒤로 빠지는 타이밍에 슬로우 걸고 뽑으면서 추가 딜 넣는 거.
So if I'm Ares, what do I want to do here? We have an advantage in the top lane. So if we ever let Shy push it out, we can look for it. We can also look for a counter gank top lane. Because Crazy is pushing out so much, you have to expect that he's going to come up there sometime. If we look at bot lane, that's definitely gankable. Because you have the Callista Alistar, so you have good initiation. It will have to be focused on the Tom Kench, of course, because he can devour someone. Mid lane, you burned his flash. So because his flash is down, it is a choice. So he has a choice in all three lanes. The top choice would be in the top lane because that's when you have a known advantage.
이번 캐스파 컵에서
The
보여줬던
bot lane is the
그
second choice mainly because
풀, 그리고 이제
that's
경기를
where
보면
because you have such good
보였어요.
initiation
뭐 11
and
올리고
follow-up
잘했고
damage.
LC도
GP's the last lane because he offers the least amount of available crowd control, follow-up basically.
일단은 와드 제거.
이러면 압박감 있죠.
Meanwhile, if I'm Ambition,
아직까지 모습을 지키지 않았기 때문에
you're not gonna get much with Tristana Tom Kench. Top lane is a priority,
식사하고 있는 앰비션.
and mid's a priority. So again, it's CJ's solo lanes that need to try to get ahead early.
자, 미드 지역 쪽으로 RS가 다시 한번 다가옵니다.
자, 근데 오늘
코코를
감을
몰아붙이고
잡고 기다리고 있죠.
Oh, he landed it. He's dead.
자, 코코를 저 위쪽.
자, 이거 또 한 번. 아레스가 매 순간
Again,
보면
Ares is just making the correct calls. He sees him pushing too far mid. He knows his flash is down. Let's get rolling. And the barrel hits
여튼
is
아래쪽도
the best indication that you can roll the fight in.
처음에 가져간 킬에 의한 주도권 자체가 많지가 않아요.
그렇죠.
근데 위쪽 탑은 확실히 리산드라가 지금 CS 12개 차에 벌리고 있고
맞습니다.
근데
사 수도
미드에서
있고.
지금 코코가 잡혀서
예.
아 그리고 순간 이동까지 어쩔 수 없이 써야 되는 상황이었거든요.
So CS lead in the top lane, expected. Crazy just keeps pushing the lane in. It makes it more readable that Ambition might try to aim for that lane if it's constantly being pushed in.
갑자기 라인전에서 유리해지고 하는 건 아니거든요.
네.
아직도 분명히 CJ에게 턴은 있습니다.
Also, if he hits level 6, that lane is also gankable. It would be really nice if Ares was level 6 himself.
강신은 있습니다.
자
강신은 있어요.
어렵다 킬 추가 킬 그리고
Yeah, I see he hits level 6 right away.
와 지금 진짜
You have... Oh, his flash is
와, 이게
barely down.
정말 무서웠던 게
예.
6렙 타이밍을 완벽하게 계산해서 콜을 했어요.
Unreal how Ares is reading everything.
오히려 먼저 들어가면서 질 교환과 스킬샷 교환을
Every single chime, like, I think this is what he should be doing. He's doing that. That is
차근차근 풀어나가야 될 텐데 CJ.
그러니까 앞선 경기도 좀 뭔가 안 풀린 게 있었기 때문에
very impressed.
본인 스스로 그걸 많이
Very
하면
impressed.
계속 무리하게 되는 건데 아 근데 그럴 때마다 옆에 아레스가 와 있습니다.
Bot lane is even, except for, of course, the kill that's into Space's favor.
경기로 계속해서 보여주고 있는 ESC 번데 발록의
Mid lane, this is a farm lane basically. Athena does have an early kill, which means he is going to spike quicker. He decided to rush the Lucid boots.
이거 관리 능력. 탑 지역이겠죠? 탑의 모습.
I'm going to assume the general idea behind the Lucidity boots rush on Gangplank is not just because of the cooldown reduction, but also because he has
강신 썼음에도
the movement speed to actually get out of soldier range, which is a pretty big deal against Azir. If you can deny his soldier auto attacks, you deny all of his damage.
아직까지는 확실히 리신 뽑은 이유를 보여줬고
그러네요.
한번 와봤는데요.
굉장히 좀 모범적인
예.
리신이라고 봐야죠. 어시만 딱딱딱 먹고
I think CJ's been tunneling way too hard on the Tristana Tom Kench.
살기 위한
그랬더니
Burns his flash again though, which then again makes that lane gankable.
바꾼 것만으로 아질은 압박을
And since bot lane is pushing out, that triggers into your mind, maybe we should go down there. What do we have? We have level 6.
그렇다면 와 생명연장의 꿈.
자 근데 좀 더 봐야죠 이거. 크레이지 위험합니다. 자
크레이지가
얼음갈기지.
빠져나갑니다.
They have level 6 for both laners, but it's still not really enough because again, you have Tom Kench and they have full sums. And you already burned your flash on Lee. I would say your main priority is going to be mid lane.
와드. 계속해서 짜임새
Yeah, top lane would be pretty hard to gank,
한번 또 어떻게 해서
especially if he has flash.
CJ 골 3차이. 1분 3차이.
You know, I also noticed that
정글링의 조금
both these dual lane matchups,
계속 라인에
they're not
근처에
killing each other,
근데 이게 사실
and they're not backing at all. They're pretty much just in a long, standing farm fest,
이런 게 있어야 되거든요.
그렇죠.
근데 그럴 때마다 지금 아레스가 거의 지금 손질이 없다라는 게
네.
which means they don't have the impact of like
그러니까 1, 2, 3경기 같은 패턴입니다.
there's no single
선수가 RS 선수보다 파밍을 좀 더 잘하고
There's no single player that's really like gonna have a big spike.
아레스가 다른 라인에 다 개입해서 이득 보고 그 이득
Even though it would be better for actually Loken,
선수가 한발
the
늦거나
Kalista,
오히려
to back
에버한테
first,
막혀서
because he'll have a much better spike with
결과를 말하는
Bork.
거거든요.
네.
자, 그렇게 하면
이거
아, 네, 또 이렇게
잡아주세요.
전멸로
You got him.
진짜 마치 이거는 진짜 멘탈이 비슷해요.
So notice the problem here. Oh, and I want to go back further because I want to see how if this was readable at all. He's pushing top. They don't have wards, so he's not 100% sure if he's there right now.
네.
He stays,
그러니까 1, 2, 3경기 같은 패턴입니다.
which means this is actually a pre-planned gank for, by Ares. He's saying, hey, you know what? This guy's low. We could probably dive him if we want to. So let's get ready for this. So he's not identifying this right away. So here it comes. They kind of expect that a gank might happen, but they're not 100% sure. Oh man. Yeah, the Gangplank ult basically just stops any options of that happening.
아 진짜 4강 경기 전까지만 하더라도 에버 잘하지만 약점이라고 평가받던 이 아리스 선수가
원래는 정말
자 샤이가 한번 와 이거 위험해 샤이 위험해요 샤이
And he greeted. Oh my god, please get out of there. Wow, he actually predicted it. But okay, let's think about what's happened in this game. So pretty much this has been the Ares show. There's a reason why he has 100% kill participation. He's made all the right moves. He identified to stay around topside because the wave was pushed. And I assume that Crazy had money to buy an item if he did the next wave, so you have Ares there to be safe. You also have Gangplank ult to answer anything. So CJ commits top. It wasn't ever like 100% reading this, it was just a precaution that they set up. And since CJ went for it, they put themselves in a bad situation, they died. Then we had Shy just there killing himself basically. So now you have the Lissandra snowballing, you have the GP ahead, and you have the Lee Sin snowballing. Basically you have some of like your most main components snowballing. Gangplank ult. He could have aimed it a little bit better with the Gangplank ult, to slow him longer. Meanwhile, bot lane, we still have Doran's completed. Or sorry, Doran's still on. Which, like you can't, like basically you can't do anything as the Kalista Alistar because Tom Kench will just eat someone. You can't do anything on the as CJ in that lane just because Tom Kench doesn't offer any engage. CJ's forcing this way too much at this point. So watch what's happening here. He's pushing this top lane, right? In other words, it's kind of like imposing the threat that, hey, we could be going for, what is it? A dive. Now, I just want to back a little bit further, actually. I think they know that he wards try. I think he knows they ward try, and maybe he trinkets over. We'll find out in a second. There we go. Okay. So what he's doing here is he's trying to walk around this area. So he's avoiding. Oh, never mind. He still gets spotted by it, doesn't he?
얼음 무덤이 돌아와요.
Yeah, he did.
네, 엠비 선수가 이렇게 미리
So they know this is gonna happen, right?
자, 코코 넘어옵니다.
자, 연계기.
자, 아레스.
Coco, the tower dies. Oh man.
그리고 마지막에 타워를 먼저 부수면서
코코가 못 넘어왔어요.
왜냐면 라인이 밀려 있었어요. 타워 앞까지 밀려 있어서 올 수가 없었어요.
This is over.
아니, 와.
This has to be 100% over. They're snowballing so hard, and yes, they have a Zir and Tristana, but I mean, look at what their engage is right now. They're pretty much a kite comp, so they're hoping for Ever to engage on top of them, but they have Gangplank ult for one, so that's gonna slow your team if you're trying to kite. Then you have Lissandra flank to target someone down while in Gangplank ult, and then you have the Alistar for engage. You have the Lee for engage. It's just their comp is so well built against CJ's comp.
코코는 결국 못 넘어왔었죠.
네.
And Ares, as I said, is making all the right choices. Gangplank ults are usually on point, so they clearly know how to play Gangplank.
모색하고 있습니다만 좀처럼 걸려들지 않고 역으로 이득을 보고 있는 ESC 에버. 네.
And it looks like he's gonna go Yomu's.
거듭 말씀드리면
So he has a specific plan for the Zir.
선택의 유연함. 아테나 선수 같은 경우도 그래 아지르 뱅플랭크 카운터로
Or either that, or he's building it in a way that
아이템 자체를
he knows his team spikes more in the mid game, so he wants to try to go for something quicker
스무스하게 풀어나가겠다.
to push their lead even farther, possibly.
자, 탑에서 리산드라가 무럭무럭 잘하고 있어요. 지금 칼리스타도 무럭무럭 잘하고 있고 갱플랭크도 잘 잘하고 있고.
저렇게 잘 성장한 리산드라 순간 이동으로 다른 라인 넘어가는 순간 그 라인도 그냥 뻥 터집니다.
진짜 압박감 엄청나게 주네요.
Okay, so top wave is pushing, which means that he's gonna roam down. They'll look for something mid if he stays there. They have more than enough pick potential there.
네, 그냥 돌고 돌아 또 이겁니다. 결국은 스페이스.
아래 또 들어왔고.
근데 이건 약간 무리감이 없잖아 있어요.
너무 쫓아오면
돌인가요? 돌인가요?
그러니까 순간적인 1.4기 에버가 더 좋기 때문에 이런 정도의 교환으로 멈춰야죠 CJ는.
Meanwhile, since they put so much pressure mid, now it gives their bot lane freedom to go into the jungle and control that. It's just such good play by Ever right now, and such bad play by CJ. Like CJ dug themselves into this hole, and Ever is not giving them a chance to climb out. Big CS lead for top lane.
거듭 말씀드리지
CS lead for Athena, and that's not even counting the gold he gets from Parlay.
라인전마저도 진짜
Lead for Callista.
예, 생각이 드는데 펍을 먹은 트리스타나 라인
Man, it's just-
칼리스타로 라인전을 이겼어요.
And you notice, like,
자, 역습 찬스.
와,
자, 사이. 아, 이걸 잡고 아레스. 자, 아레스. 아, 이거 동기어진 자체.
yeah, they're just playing around the map so well. You know, they put pressure, so they have top wave pushing, they rotate mid to put pressure. Then that means bot lane gets the pressure into their jungle, so now they have a stranglehold on there. Then they move back top side to look for a dive. Because they know they're so far behind, they can get away with it. My god, this is such a... It's actually kind of enjoyable to watch Ever do this. It's not enjoyable seeing CJ do a bad job, but it is enjoyable to see Ever do this, especially Ares.
정말 예, 뭐 하나 선거 프로그램이나 켠김에 완전 밝히네요 지금. ESC 에버.
현장에 있는 분들이
And he didn't have a shutdown either. Ares didn't have a shutdown. If this was 5.22, he actually would give a small amount of global gold to everyone. But because he didn't, first off, it's not 5.22, so they don't get global gold. And since he didn't have 3 kills, they didn't get the big shutdown gold either. Oh. It's just going everything their way.
어이가 없다라는 표현이 맞는 것 같은데.
The only person who's worth shutdown gold right now is the Lissandra.
지금은 아지르를 좀 더 철두철미하게 지켜주고
And they haven't even bothered going for Dragon because they feel so much better just building their lead. Just build your lead. Dragon doesn't build a lead, and it commits you to have to give up farm while the enemy team gets farm.
성장할 텀을 벌어주는
네.
좀 이런 어떤 바톤 터치의 플레이를 지금 CJ 엔투스가 보여줄 수 있습니다. 탑은 정말 이건 견적이 이제 안 나옵니다.
이게 정말로 그나마 탐캐치가 있는 게 다행이에요. 이게 왜 그러냐면 리산드라가 조져 나와서 대놓고 들어가서 스페이스만 물었을 때 스페이스 죽이면 그한테 끝나거든요. 근데 그나마 매드라이프가 그걸 한번 세이브했을 때 코코의 진영과 황제의 진영을 어떻게 들어갔나요, 변수?
예.
근데 그나마 이 정도 아니면은 많이 어렵죠. 저 갱플랭크도 아무런 흠집 없이 잘 돌고 있고요.
야, 이것도 MVP가 누가 될지도 굉장히 또 궁금해집니다.
Okay, he's soloing Dragon.
MVP가
Bot lane is still just basically even. I mean, Kalista has a lead now because it's Kalista. They keep targeting this lane though. Oh, he's actually dead.
자, 피했고.
스킬콜 돌아오면
아, 자기가 마음 같아서는 가고 싶은데 정말 마음 같아서 가고 싶은데 갈 수가 없어요.
이게 왜냐면은 크레이지가 아까 라인전에서 계속 보여줬던 건데
예.
샤이가 딱 W K 스턴 넣으려고 들어가는 순간 역속박권
He's not tanky enough to really go.
자, 이렇게 하나씩 굴려나갑니다.
That was a pretty risky dive, actually, now that I think about it. Because Renekton at this point with the level 2 ult plus some of his HP boost with the Cowl and Kindle Gem and the Phage. Ooh, he's dead though.
자, 뒤에 나오는 크레이지.
네, 이거는
전멸 나는 스킬 슬로우
얼음 무덤 돌아와요. 그리고
Yep. Nothing he can do about that.
5킬 2어시스트 CS 166개.
사실 지금도 전멸을 쏘도 잡힌다는 것은 알았을 텐데 전멸까지
Coco is slowly gaining back
정인해설
his mid lane pressure, I would say.
샤이 선수 확실히 흔들리고 있다라는 게 느껴지는 장면입니다.
Pretty much what Ever's been doing in this game is they just been, or how they play GP is they have GP, you know, just clear waves. You know, he doesn't have the biggest spikes.
예. 리산드라.
And then they've been targeting the top lane. In other words, they're targeting Shy. Again, a pivotal piece to CJ's comp in the past games has been the Renekton. Because if Renekton snowballs, yes, you have a great amount of pressure that you can play around. You can have your Azir you basically can have your Azir take control of mid even more. And it just helps everyone. Plus, you also want to split push with a Renekton probably. But what Ever's doing is they're just playing around it. And of course, Ares is taking all the kills. You can see he's waiting for the execution kill with his Q. And Space staying bot because he still needs the items. I mean, it doesn't matter. This game is pretty done. They're pretty much done. That's a better way to phrase it. Okay, flank.
그래도
와 밀면서 자 킥 끝났어요.
자 근데
Okay, so what CJ does instead, they notice that Ever's being too greedy mid, so they utilize their flank with their oh man, what do I call it? Their Azir. There you go.
아 마무리가 안 됩니다. 스페이스.
Yeah, utilize. I'm sorry, I'm just getting distracted watching these fights. Utilize their TP for the flank. Ever got too greedy there. Easy play for CJ to make.
정말 잡힐 듯 하면서 빠져나오고 있는
So GP has Triforce. He just got Avarice.
뭐 냉정하게 방금 CJ만
Coco, I think is gonna get a Rylai's off this.
어쨌든 언제나 똑같습니다. 불리한
Actually, no, that's pretty expensive, isn't it?
거는 희소식이에요.
Does he have the gold for that? No. I was gonna say yeah, because he's still missing the blasting one. Or no, sorry, the big rod or whatever. Alright, Shy went Black Cleaver, which I don't agree about at all. I really think he should just be going. At this point, Shy should just be becoming a massive tank. Let Coco and Space do all the damage. You don't need to go Black Cleaver at this point. He could even build the Kindle Gem instead of a Black Cleaver into a. Oh god, I'm blanking on it. Spirit Visage. Okay, so there's one of the problems with Tom Kench when you're facing Alistar. Alistar can just combo the Tom Kench and he can't do anything about it. Now they're pressuring mid. Yeah, this series is gonna end pretty quickly. They're snowballing. It's as simple as that. As I mentioned, they're just snowballing. They had Ares did massive work. Lyssandra's an early to mid game type champion, and if she gets ahead, then you can just constantly impact that area of the map. Eventually, because there's so much pressure top side, bot side actually has to play more safely, which gives Kalista the go-ahead to actually punish harder. And then mid lane gets ahead because Ares also impacted mid lane by making Coco flash twice, killing him. How many times? I think he killed him once in lane. So, and you have the GP ult to impact side lanes whenever you go for a play that may turn out worse than you thought. There's a reason why people ban Gangplank. In the, I would say, round of 12, it wasn't as apparent because both Gangplank games they did poorly, and it seemed like Gangplank was taking too long to snowball, but they weren't playing it the correct way. Ever is playing it the correct way. At this point, we're looking at the waves. Bot wave is pushing out, so they actually may look for. Is mid down? Yeah, mid is down. If I were them, I would actually be looking towards Baron. I actually would have preferred if they didn't recall at that moment. Because that wave was going to crash, and I would have started just playing around Baron at that moment. I wouldn't necessarily do Baron. I would play around it. Because if you do Baron with a 0-up, for one, we know Coco could dominate the shit out of them if they did Baron. Because you can just trap everyone inside the Baron pit and then still DPS. If I'm CJ, what do we have to do? I think at this point, I think they just need to play safe and hope to God that they can kite out one of these team fights with Coco. And if they start Baron, that is your opportunity to get back into the game. But they need to make sure they're ready for Baron. They need to make sure they're ready to contest it. It's gonna be all on Coco at this point now. So here we go. They're going for Baron. They have top wave push, so that's gonna be pressuring. Bot wave is doing nothing. Mid wave is doing nothing. they go for the quick pick.
앰비션은 살았지만 매드라이트가
That's it.
없었어요.
You lost the Tom Kench.
기다렸고요.
한번 한타입니다.
던집니다.
뒤에서 이사들어.
들어왔어요.
자, 밀어놨습니다. 빈틈이 있네요.
He has no mana.
슬로우 걸렸어요.
자, 서리빵.
Okay.
크레이지 진짜.
Please, CJ, just surrender. Because this game is snowball beyond out of control. Even though you have Azir, who has great scaling,
진짜 분위기 타니까 너무 무섭네요, 에버. 야, 로컨의 팩이 보세요.
it's just not worth it at this point.
자,
경기가 기우는 겁니까?
끝날 생각?
경기가 기우는 겁니까?
기우는 거예요. 저
And what I mean by it's not worth it at this point, I mean it's not. This game's not really worth for CJ to really play out. I can understand you don't surrender just because there may be a chance that they may do some like stupid misplay, but hopefully CJ fixes their roster. Get rid of Shy, get rid of Ambition. Mad Life I think is over. I think he's done as well.
완벽한 주인공으로 정말 대단하네요.
말씀드린 것처럼 에버라는 팀은
Meanwhile, if I'm looking at Ever,
있었고 앞으로 더욱 발전한
impressive. He beat SKT 2-0. Yes, they played Scout. Yes, SKT did kind of throw game 2 even though they were dominating the shit out of that game.
보여주는 겁니다.
And no, Ever is not better than SKT. I'm not making that. But the fact that they could beat SKT in 2 games, and then 3-0 CJ, and this is not a team that's even the LCK. I like this team. I like Ares. I think Athena played his Gangplank very well. Key actually had some really good plays as well. It's just a good team overall.
하지만 그것이 노행도 아니고 운도 아니라는 거. 결국 항상
And based on this game, as I mentioned, it just snowballed out of control. Ares kept control of the game. The global ult by GP, annoying as shit to deal with yet again, and CJ decides to ban Bard over Gangplank. So I'm not sure about that one at this point. When they get to game 3 and they already know how annoying Athena's Gangplank is. But oh well, I enjoyed watching this series. I enjoyed watching Ever. Saw some good play, some good map play, some very good decision making. And we'll see how well they do at IEM now forever. So this is I'm done with this VOD review. If you enjoyed it, you can subscribe or follow me on Twitter. As I always say at the end of every single video. If you have any criticism, please leave a comment and let me know. I'm trying to constantly improve. I'm trying to improve on identifying exactly what a team should be doing at each time. And so I don't think I've been looking at the waves as closely as I should be. For instance, like when they made the Baron call, I should identify, okay, their top wave is pushing. They have they know there's no vision by CJ. It's a grand opportunity for them to just take Baron at 24 minutes. Stuff like that.